And we begin with breaking news tonight. A domestic violence suspect leading police on a high-speed pursuit. It has been dangerous, with the driver reaching speeds of more than 100 miles an hour. You see it, though. The car now has stopped. Let's get a location and a position here from Chris Christie in Air 7 HD. Chris.
That's right, Mark. We're on Citrus Street, just off of the 10 freeway. This is a West Covina PD pursuit that has taken us all through South LA, all the way back up the 710 freeway, back into the same area where it all started. A domestic violence suspect and possible rape suspect refusing to pull over. And just moments ago, there was a thorough pit maneuver that virtually brought this car to a halt. But then he stepped on it once again. He lost a tire, did suffer a bit of damage. But now the damage, it looks like, has brought him to heel here as he has come to a full stop on Citrus Avenue. A dramatic pit maneuver. We'll go ahead and play it for you right now, and you could see exactly what it looked like just a few seconds ago as he was getting off of the freeway, going through West Covina's jurisdiction, over the median there, losing control, and then almost going up an embankment, hit a pole, hit that hole. The pursuit's back on. He's back on the move. He's back on the move. Continuing down Citrus Street. That vehicle, you could tell, is still heavily damaged after he hit the pole, and just barely drivable at this point. We noticed damage during the pursuit, some front end damage, some rear bumper damage, mostly cosmetic damage. The driver was behaving fairly composed throughout most of this pursuit, and now is really ramping things up here after that pit maneuver. They are desperate to get this guy off the road. At no point, Mark, did they ever even think about handing this off to the California Highway Patrol. West Covina has been committed to taking this guy in all night long, well over an hour-long pursuit with LA County Sheriff's helicopter overhead, calling it out for them and shining a light on this driver. This driver, though, refusing to pull over. And as I mentioned, we have been all over town, through East LA, down the 710 freeway, across the 105 out towards LAX. He turned around, dotted a number of freeways, and made his way all the way back here to the San Gabriel Valley. And somehow that Scion is still on the move with, we can only imagine how much gas is left.
You said he may have lost a tire, too?
It looked to me like a tire came flying off there when that, I'm pretty sure it was his tire. And it looks like that front right wheel might be smoking now. If it is just a rim, that would make a lot of sense. Here comes another pit attempt as they try now desperately to bring this to a stop. This has gotten infinitely more dangerous just in the last few minutes. It was a very tame pursuit at manageable speeds for the most part, except for a certain point where he was really pushing the pedal to the metal. As you mentioned, well over 100 miles per hour at one point, but for the most part, he's been going with the flow of traffic. Here comes another pit attempt at a very high rate of speed. You would not expect to see this, but West Covina has not been the most conventional tonight by any means. You could see the smoke coming from that front right wheel, and that primary unit looking to make contact with the rear of that vehicle once again. They thought they had him at a full stop there. More debris flying off the vehicle, sparks flying, and this cannot go on too much longer. But you can see now clearly losing bits and pieces of the vehicle as he picks up speed on Workman Avenue. We are in a residential neighborhood here in the San Gabriel Valley. And now starting to lose a little bit of control. I don't see any of the cars here, but he's going for that pit here in the middle of an intersection. Fortunately, no cross traffic there, and I mean, a lot of things that we wouldn't expect to see here tonight, Mark. We are seeing it for sure. And now that he has picked up this pursuit once again and is really pressing these officers, they are even more aggressive than they were earlier on. At no point were they ever more than 3 or 4 car lengths behind him. They have been hot on his tail the whole night long, all night long, and now you can see this aggressive attempt to bring this to an end. As far as we could tell, by the way, only the driver that we are aware of inside the vehicle.
Okay, and again, the driver believed to be a suspect in a rape and domestic violence. So he is considered to be violent and dangerous, and hence the reason they have not given up. Let's see if he makes that pit, and he's just evading it.
I think he made contact again.
He's evading it by speeding up. He's giving it another shot.
Yeah, another shot here. Wow, This is unbelievable. Fortunately, there's no other traffic in the area. That's the only reason I could think of that they are so desperate to bring it to an end right here at this particular point. But as they go through these intersections, they're not aware of what cross traffic could be coming through them. So some dicey driving here, and you can see that vehicle just doesn't have much left. I mean, that front right wheel is gone. Look at that, straight ramming into the back of the Scion, which is, oh my gosh, look at this. He's going to hit a parked car here at some point. Somehow, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is, right into the parked car. The primary, the secondary, guns drawn, as they now bring this pursuit to an end. Really nowhere for him to go here. A violent end to this pursuit as that vehicle was just starting to come apart. That front right wheel, nothing but rim. We should mention at one point during this pursuit, Mark, they put out a call to CHP for an object that was thrown out the window. We don't know if the suspect is armed. So always a possibility, of course. But it does look like finally this has come to an end in dramatic fashion here at Broadmoor Avenue and Workman Avenue, right in the city of West Covina where it all started.
Broadmoor and Workman. So it's not over yet. It's not over until they get him out of the car. You can see the smoke coming off of the vehicle now. We saw that shower of sparks as the tire had disintegrated. It was riding on the rims and sparks were flying. There was smoke coming from under the vehicle while it was riding. It's still to some degree smoking right now. There was a front end collision earlier, as you pointed out, when they did the pit maneuver the first time, and it jumped over the center median and then ended up going up that embankment and then hitting the pole as it did there. You saw some smoke erupting from the vehicle at that point. One can only imagine that some damage was done that caused that to happen. And so what we are left with now is a barricade situation right now. He's stuck inside the vehicle. He is trapped. The car can't go anywhere because it's, of course, wedged up against that parked car between that and a couple of police units. So the car's not going anywhere. The suspect not deciding to get out at this point. Earlier, when they had him stopped and we thought this thing was ending as this newscast came on the air, he was stopped and he was rolling the window down, and then all of a sudden, as you pointed out and as we all saw, he took off again. And so now you've got the smoke coming out and you've got the suspect still in the car and at this point refusing to get out.
And as you notice, that driver's side window is rolled up. It was rolled down for a large duration of this pursuit. It looks like, I thought I saw some movement coming from the driver's side. We're also noticing what almost looks like a bullet hole in the roof of the vehicle. It's speculation on my part, but it does look suspicious. He is moving inside the driver's seat there. In any event, he did have that window rolled down for much of the pursuit and was really taunting the officers, giving them the middle finger, flashing them at various points on the freeway, and then rolling the windows back up. But it does look like he has an opportunity here. Oh, he's trying. He's stepping on the gas. He's stepping on the gas, trying to get out of this tight spot, but that parked car isn't going anywhere. That front right wheel is just grinding on the pavement right now as he has really nowhere to go and no wheels to take him anywhere. So just pushing the pedal to the metal, burning whatever is left of those rims, creating lots of smoke, throwing up lots of sparks, and refusing to come out of the vehicle. The vehicle has nowhere to go, but he certainly is able to pop open that driver's side door if he chose to. They have the K9 units ready, already on scene here, ready to bring this to an end, but he is really going out in dramatic fashion here, Mark.
Really bizarre, and you know, when you think about all the smoke that is on the outside of the vehicle, I wonder if some of that smoke, it's got to be pouring into the inside of the vehicle from the vents and what have you. So it's probably pretty smoky on the inside as well. He may end up, this may be pretty kind of counterproductive for him because it's got to be very uncomfortable inside.
Absolutely. It looks like that hood was popped open during the collision with that parked car, but that car is, I mean, it's entirely likely that it's going to catch on fire, whether he's even moving the, whether he's spinning the wheels or not. At this point, with all the brake fluid and everything else, it is certainly a possibility that that car catches on fire. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they've already called for the fire department to come on out here. But in any event, those officers stepping away a little bit, in fact, I don't see any officers near their cars. They have backed off completely. They still have their guns trained on that driver's side, that driver's seat, but they have stepped away from their vehicles for what could be a flammable situation.
Right. This is kind of strange. I don't recall seeing something like this before, where they continue to try to spin the wheel after the vehicle has already been stopped. This is a new one for me. You know, as we look at this is a residential area. You can imagine people in the area being awakened to the sound of this, not only by our helicopter, but by the commotion of the police cars, and looking out their windows and seeing this. Some very strange. Here's another angle right there of the end of the pursuit, where the driver collided with that parked car and was then wedged in, hemmed in. And as you rightly pointed out earlier, the right front tire has basically disintegrated, popped at some point, and now you see him gesturing toward the officers. I don't know if the window is up or down right now. It looks like he stopped. He's taking his foot off the gas.
Throwing something.
What was that?
Looks like a pipe wrench. Threw a pipe wrench out the window.
Okay.
And hopefully that's the extent of his weaponry inside that vehicle. Really hope, because this is a precarious situation after what is nothing less than an aggressive tactic by West Covina to end it the way they did. In any event, that driver is certainly agitated behind the wheel there. He is very animated, something we have not really seen for most of the pursuit. As I mentioned, the driving seemed fairly composed throughout most of the pursuit. The drama all started right before we came on the air with that pit maneuver. We saw some previous pit attempts during the pursuit. There was one that was, they made contact, but it was a failed pit. He was able to get away. He sped up. And then, as you saw, he really made contact on Citrus Street for the first time, spinning the vehicle out of control, where we thought the vehicle was disabled, but sure enough, kept going all the way into this Workman Avenue neighborhood, where they tried several more pit attempts, a lot more contact. He was weaving all over the road, eventually colliding with that parked car there, and now realizing that his minutes are numbered. He is going to be going to jail here, but certainly not as peacefully as we would have wished.
Right, and you mentioned that they may have summoned a canine unit, that there could be a canine unit on the way. That is a tactic that is employed for just this sort of situation. The dogs are trained to jump into an open window and go in and get the suspect if they need to. But that sometimes it's just the threat of the dog can be used to convince someone to give up when they otherwise wouldn't. A lot of people are really afraid of big dogs, and especially if it's a police dog, there's plenty of reason to be afraid. The bites are pretty vicious. But we do not see one yet having been brought to bear here, because
there is one down there.
Oh, there is one down there. Where? Okay, let's see.
Yeah, there is one down there already on the scene. He's ready to go. I think he was near that lead unit, but he may be now a couple cars back. I'm not sure. Do you still see him, Rob? Is he behind there? Okay, he might be with this group of officers there. In any event, hard to say, Mark, how this is going to play out. And I say that partially because the tactics have been pretty unorthodox all evening long. We saw so many things that we're just not accustomed to seeing, but you see that with a lot of these smaller departments. They don't follow the same tactics that we often see with LAPD or the Sheriff's Department or California Highway Patrol. It's different department by department. And certainly we have seen some unusual tactics, to say the least, including a number of pit maneuvers at a fairly high rate of speed in areas where there could have easily been some collateral damage. In any event, fortunately, nobody else hurt here at the end of this pursuit, as far as we could tell. And it does become a waiting game now, whether they call for a SWAT team at some point or they decide to handle this a different way. I don't even see, you normally will look for the less lethal weaponry if they wanted to fire a beanbag through the rear window or something like that, but that's usually indicated by the neon colored long rifles. So I don't see those. It looks like they've got this guy at gunpoint. It's just a matter of time, though, before he comes out, or they have to extract him.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.